Welcome to the Oasis. My name's Mike, and this week my Pimax 5K Plus headset finally arrived here in the office. Now, I'm a Kickstarter backer of this product, and although I've been skeptical about this headset in the past, I've been really looking forward to getting my hands on it and testing it out thoroughly myself. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the history of Pimax and how this headset separates itself from the crowd in the VR market space. I'll also do a brief unboxing, show you how easy or maybe not so easy it is to set up. I'll be testing it out with some games, and then finally give you my first impressions at the end of the video. Of course, as always, I'll put timestamps to everything in the description down below. I hope you guys and girls enjoy this one, and without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so first up, if you're not familiar with Pimax, they're a Chinese virtual reality company. They launched their first headset back in 2016 called the Pimax 4K. Then in November 2017, Pimax set out their Kickstarter campaign for their new flagship VR headsets, the Pimax 5K and the Pimax 8K. These headsets were pushing the boundaries back then and still are even today. The Pimax is the only consumer available headset right now that sports such a wide field of view. Most headsets like the Oculus Rift, HTC Vive and PSVR have around 100 degrees field of view. Both the Pimax 5K and 8K sport around 200 degrees field of view, which is very close to our natural field of view of around 210 degrees. I was really intrigued about what Pimax were offering, so I pledged $799 of my own money for the full 8K package. This included the Pimax 8K headset, controllers, and base stations. I'm backer number 4,416 out of 5,946 backers. The Kickstarter campaign for this headset was hugely successful. The company raised over $4 million, almost double what the Oculus Rift raised during its Kickstarter campaign. I later switched my backing to the 5K Plus after seeing many reviews stating they preferred it over the 8K. My headset was due to arrive in February 2018 and arrived almost exactly a year late without the controllers or base stations. These are still being developed by Pimax, so if you're thinking about picking up a headset right now, you're going to need to use Vive base stations and controllers to use it. As you can see, in the box you get the Pimax headset with a cable over 15 feet long, which has a DisplayPort and USB to connect to your PC. Also in the box you get a power adapter and a very basic head strap. So let's quickly compare the specs of this headset with others that are available on the market. The Pimax 5K Plus has two 2560 by 1440 pixels per eye LCD panels that run at 90 Hz. When we compare it to the HTC Vive Pro, it runs two 1600 by 1440 pixels per eye OLED panels, also at 90 Hz. And of course, the lowest in the group in terms of resolution is the original Oculus Rift, running two 1200 by 1080 pixels per eye OLED panels, also at 90 Hz. Before the Pimax arrived, I was advised that investing in a Vive Deluxe audio strap for the Pimax would be a good idea, so I ordered one in advance and 3D printed the necessary adapters myself. I'll put a link to the adapters designed from Thingiverse in the description down below if you want to 3D print them yourself. I also replaced the standard foam cushion on the Pimax 5K Plus with a thick, perforated pleather pad from VR Cover. So now we've got the Pimax out of the box and already modded with a fresh Vive Deluxe audio strap and a VR Cover face pad, it's now time to see how easy it is to set up. So the first thing I had to do was download the Pi tool from the Pimax website, and this is the software that you need to use to run your headset. Unfortunately, the Pi tool wasn't available to download through the website, not a particularly good start. I headed straight over to the official Pimax forums, where I was able to download the latest beta version of the Pi tool from one of the forum's moderators, who had uploaded the latest version to his Google Drive. Once I had downloaded the Pi tool, I plugged in the Pimax 5K Plus into a DisplayPort and USB port on my PC and provided it with power using the power adapter. Installation and setup from this point was an absolute breeze. Pi tool recognized the headset straight away and updated its firmware. All I needed to do from this point was pair my Vive controllers and run through the room setup, and I was good to go. I'd previously already set up the Vive base stations from when I was previously using the HTC Vive Pro. Now it was time to try it out with some games. First up was First Contact. Now it's worth noting that you can play games from Steam VR or from Oculus Home straight out of the box. Although just like using Revive with the HTC Vive, button mapping on the controllers can be totally off in some games, so don't expect a smooth gameplay experience when playing games from the Oculus Store. Next up was Beat Saber, and I found playing this on the Pimax, something just wasn't right. It felt like part of the scene was being displayed in a strange way, almost like I had double vision or something. And this was more apparent in the menu and looking in the background during gameplay. However, when I enabled compatible with parallel projections in the Pytool menu and restarted the game, this completely fixed the problem, and from then on, the game looked great. Contractors was next up, and it looked bright and vivid, and having the game fill the whole wide field of view of this headset was really nice. And it got me thinking, I wonder if using a wide field of view headset like this one would be beneficial to competitive players in the future, and if it would give them an advantage over other players. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And finally, I checked out Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, and this game looked downright incredible, but it was very graphically demanding and even struggled to run smoothly on my overclocked RTX 2080 Ti. Okay, so now let's talk about my first impressions of the Pimax 5K Plus. Now firstly, the setup was much easier than I expected. However, not having access to the Pytool to be available to download from the official Pimax website wasn't a particularly good start. However, with that said, once I finally got a copy of the latest version of the Pytool, it was very easy to use. The headset itself is surprisingly light, despite it looking very big and bulky. And I was also pleased to see that such a long cable was included in the box. Now, I didn't have any issues with my headset, I didn't have any dead pixels or any other problems, and it was working straight out the box. Although I know a lot of you out there has had some issues with build quality of these headsets in the past, but I'm aware that Pimax are improving this over time. The Deluxe audio strap mod is almost essential until Pimax release a better version of the strap themselves. It's so much more comfortable than the strap supplied in the box and has built-in audio, which makes getting in and out of VR much easier. The display on the Pimax 5K Plus looks nice and sharp with reduced screen door effect, and having that ultra-wide field of view is really cool. However, this comes with a trade-off of having distortion and blurriness on the edges of your vision, and this can be actually quite distracting, particularly when moving your head in a virtual environment. And I would kind of describe it like having a fishbowl effect on the edges of your view. And this is my biggest concern about using this headset so far, and I'm really wondering if this can be fixed with a software update or if this is just a result of the huge lenses they've used. I also found that when experimented with the FOV slider in the Pytool settings, that I would have objects pop in and out of my view as shown here in Steam VR when I set it to large, so for the most part I kept the FOV on normal. Another issue is because my IPD is so low, I set it to its lowest possible value, and this means that the two lenses actually sit on the bridge of my nose just here, and this makes using the headset for long periods of time actually quite uncomfortable. I would also say that if you wear glasses in VR, you're going to struggle with this headset, as there's very little room between your eyes and the lenses. And unlike other headsets, you can't adjust the lenses to be further away from your eyes. So personally, I won't be wearing glasses or prescription lenses in the headset, as I'd be really concerned about the glasses scratching these huge lenses. Overall though, I think what Pimax have achieved here is extremely impressive, and they've absolutely delivered on their initial promise. The big question is though, will this replace my Oculus Rift? Well, in some applications, yeah, I think it actually will. But it won't be replacing it as my daily driver, and this is due to the ease of use, comfort, and game library and controllers of the Oculus Rift. Would I recommend it to others? Well, if you're on the very high-end level enthusiast that wants the very best and has deep pockets, and maybe sim racing or flight sims are your bag, then yeah, I would recommend it to you. But if you're the average consumer that is thinking about getting into VR or you like VR gaming, I would say no, this headset isn't for you. The wide field of view is nice, but for half the price of this headset alone, you can get everything you need for a great and immersive PC VR experience with an Oculus Rift, HTC Vive or Windows mixed reality headset. Another thing to remember here is that you're going to need a very powerful PC and a powerful graphics card to run this headset. Now, I've heard some people say that now Pimax have implemented brain warp motion smoothing technology that you're going to be able to use a GTX 1060 to run this headset. Quite frankly, that is just nonsense. A GTX 1080 Ti is really the bare minimum I would recommend to use this headset. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you interested in the Pimax headsets? Have you got one yourself? Or maybe you're still waiting for yours to arrive? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you've got any practical advice on how I can improve this experience, particularly around the distortion and the pressure on my nose from the lenses, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. So I hope you guys and girls enjoyed this one. Leave a like if you like this video, make sure you're subscribed for all my future content, and as always, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.